Okay, this is fun. Okay, I'm going to do screen share now. Let's see. Oh, wrong thing. I wanted to tell you, Kimiyo, that I don't know if I emailed you, but the name changes were due to suggestions that you made. So, welcome to Raising Happy Kids Zoom Show, Episode 1. The one rule to raising happy kids: too much screen time. During the first part of this 1-hour show, I share tips, lessons, and stories so you can raise happy kids. Then we get into discussion about raising happy kids, in opinions, in needs. But you now have means to solutions, and each of this, practice it and reap the benefits. The one rule does it all. Knowing and following the one rule is all you really need to create harmony between you and your kids. I had already realized and documented that for years my own children, worked with hundreds of children as head teacher in the Montessori school I co-founded and in public schools after that I had discovered, created, and used 108 tools, skills, and strategies. One evening I was thinking, do people actually have to learn and know all of these 108 tools, skills, and strategies to be able to raise happy kids? It seemed so unlikely to happen. Then I asked myself a question. What is the least that people need to know about what I've learned about raising happy kids so that they can most quickly and easily raise their own happy kids? Or something like that. During that evening, little by little, it was uncovered in my mind, going deeper and deeper, like digging for buried treasure, until I found it. Wow, that's it. That's all people really need to know. If they know this and use it, it takes care of all the rest. I was amazed. I told one of my coaches, and he came up with 108 parenting lessons in one simple rule. Here is the one rule. To raise happy kids and to be happy yourself, make sure that those involved agree with each decision. This was my first definition, my discovery. This is how I raised my kids once I decided never to force them to do what they did not want to do. This was how I treated the kids I worked with. Why and how the one rule works. Apparently, our brain is hardwired to answer questions. When we are asked a question, or when we ask ourselves a question, our brain immediately begins searching for an answer. The one rule is like asking our brain a question, so it immediately begins searching for an answer. The problem, trouble, or conflict is the source of the question. We ask two primary questions. How can we find agreement? And what is really important to me in this situation? So when you ask those questions, your brain immediately begins searching for the answers. As I repeatedly asked those questions, the 108 tools, skills, and strategies appeared. You may have more or different solutions, but the 108 is what came up in my life. In any situation where there are differences that might lead to conflict between you and your kids, use the one rule. Using the one rule means you find agreement. That's the rule. The one rule equals agreement. Agreement equals harmony. You find an idea, a solution that everyone likes. You've found agreement. You've found harmony. Follow this rule. Find harmony. The one rule helps you discover what needs to shift so that everyone involved feels good about the situation. Even though I had not isolated it and named it, it was very much a part of raising my children and working with students as a Montessori teacher in our Montessori school, as well as with students in public schools, including special needs students. Now, close your eyes and imagine this. Your family, no conflicts, everyone getting along, everyone helping everyone, everyone getting what they need, everyone having a good time. Just imagine. Sound good? Well, that's what you can create with the one rule. This one strategy could put an end to conflict in just one session. I learned this strategy from 3-year-old children. I was teaching them a complex conflict resolution strategy, actually intended for adults, and they taught me this. So don't think you're in for a rough time. It's simple, it's easy, it's powerful and effective. It works if you use it. That's what it takes, you just have to use it. The one rule to raising happy kids can prevent much of your stress and overwhelm from being created by problems and conflicts with your kids. First, let's take a look at how conflict begins. In just about anything you can think of, there can be differences between two people. Picture this. No one has the same point of view. That means that no one physically looks out of your eyes except you. If 2 or more people are looking at the same thing, each person's point of view is different, if only slightly. Differences don't have to result in conflict. Everyone has differences. Differences in interests. Some of us like to read and some of us would rather play video games. Differences in beliefs. Some of us believe in the work ethic and some of us believe that life is a playground. Differences in values. Some of us believe in cooperation and some of us believe in competition. Differences in likes and dislikes. Some of us like chili and some of us don't. That's not to say that we don't have many things in common, but when we have differences and do not know how to resolve them in a humane and peaceful manner, conflict develops. Out of the situation of conflict spring all the troubles that develop between adults and kids. Think about it. When you are angry with your kids, it's because they want one thing and you want another. Whether it is over bedtimes, you want them to go to bed. They want to stay up. Homework, you want them to do their homework. They want to watch TV. Chores, you want them to do their chores. They want to go to their friends. Whatever the issue, Learning how to resolve differences and the resulting conflicts in a humane and peaceful manner is what the one rule to raising happy kids is all about. Once you have made the one rule your habit, you can avoid getting into conflict in the first place. As you already know, the one rule is simple. It's finding agreement before you decide what to do or not to do. As long as there are no differences that might lead to conflict, there is no need to use the one rule. As soon as you realize that there are differences between what you want and what your kids want, that is the time to use the one rule. Find agreement before you move on, before you decide what to do. You, the adult, are the example of the one rule in action. You make sure that the rule is followed, and especially that you follow it. The one rule shifts everyone's goals. The primary goal is now finding agreement. It turns into a treasure hunt. The treasure is the solution that everyone agrees to. Something that everyone likes and wants, something satisfying and fulfilling to everyone involved. It's not just settling for second best or giving up on having something you want at all. And it is only used when differences are leading to conflict. It is a path back to harmony. That's all. When you use the one rule, you create a heart-to-heart bridge between you and your child. That way you both feel loved at all times. You are loved, but you also feel loved. They are loved, but they also feel loved. No one has to wait until there's some disaster or loss to recognize the love that is there. You and your child get to feel it at all times. Imagine the blissful power of this. Today, I want to share an example of the one rule in action. It happened soon after the one rule was created, actually appeared in my mind. My youngest daughter and her 6-year-old son were visiting. I told them both about the one rule. My daughter actually came up with the term agreement. I liked it, and it stuck. One word for the one rule. My grandson loved the screen time he got here, but my daughter did not love his screen time. We also did other things like go to the park, lots of running, swinging, climbing, and playing. One day I was in the living room when he asked me to put on a video. I decided to try out the one rule. I told him that it was okay with me if he watched a video, but that it was not fine with his mother. I told him that because of that, it made me feel uncomfortable. I said that maybe we could use the one rule and find something that he liked and that his mother liked and that I liked, something we could all agree to. He thought for a moment, then he suggested that he and I play cards. Agreement. We had great fun playing cards. He and I agreed that he could choose what games we played and make the rules, changing them any moment he wanted to change them. This story is what came to my mind when I thought of what I might like to cover during today's show. I know this topic is a matter of concern for many parents these days. What happened with my grandson and I is just one solution that he came up with and that worked for me and my daughter. That is one thing about the one rule. It is as flexible as the people involved want it to be. Most rules are constricting. Of course, this rule is constricting too. However, it only permits what is best for all involved. It does not constrict in a harmful way. It is like a guardrail that prevents people from falling off a cliff. We are glad that it is there. The one rule does the difficult work for all the people who use it. The difficult work of making sure that all the decisions work for all the people involved, not just for my grandson, not just for my daughter, not just for me, but for all of us. We all get to feel good. My grandson gave up some of his desired screen time, but got to play cards in a way that really pleased him. He also got to decide what to do instead of screen time. My daughter got to feel peaceful inside because her wishes were honored by her son and by her mom. I got to enjoy the time with my grandson and try out the one rule. Did my grandson have to give up screen time? Not necessarily. Using the one rule could have resulted in his mother finding harmony with his screen time. It is completely flexible, except when it comes to finding agreement that feels good to all involved. It is my belief that harmony exists in each moment. If we are not experiencing it, we just have to find it. The one rule to raising happy kids is one way to do this. Thanks for being here. Now it's time for Q&A and discussion. Hi, Sera.
Hi, Sera. That was really very nice, Miss Karen. I was hearing and learning the session. Hi, Sera. How are you?
Hi, Batool. Hi, Karen. Hello, Karen.
Hi.
I'm sorry, I was outside. I wasn't looking at the clock.
Karen, is that there wasn't it's blurred. It's either only my computer or it's not clear that your presentation that written. Is that
It didn't show up clearly for you?
no?
Oh, maybe you have to click another screen. Get like a speaker's view to share her screen share will show to you also.
Today,
So
in the beginning, when you started, it was not showing. Then all of a sudden, it started showing. When you said imagine, there it was clear.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah.
I can see. I saw your slides. I saw your slides.
Okay. But you didn't, Kimiyo.
I saw the slide, but it's not. It's kind of blurred. It's not clear.
It wasn't clear.
No.
Huh.
Is it Sarah? Did you get clear?
Yeah, by the time I came on, all the slides were there and it was very clear.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no problem.
So maybe I don't know. Maybe my computer. I'm not sure.
Well, one thing that I do, I've been sending out the slides, and also I put the show on one of my YouTube channels. So I'll do that for sure, and I'll send you the slides, Kimiyo, if you like.
But I saw this. Everyone got that kind of blurred. The presentation. Yeah.
Right.
That's concerned that So
yeah. Well,
you
other people might have. Just yeah. I don't know, because I know I clicked the two boxes to enhance the presentation. I don't know what else I could do.
Because last time I think there was the one time very beginning one that was very clear. But this was kind of very broad,
Huh.
So maybe from different viewer, that I don't know, computer setting might be not.
Maybe settings.
Right.
The recordings should be okay, I think.
Well, I'll take a look at that. That will be, then I could see how it comes out that way. I'll do that. I'm glad you brought this up, Kimiyo.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take a look at it.
To make sure.
Yeah. In fact, I could take a look. I could look through all of them and see how the past ones have gone.
Yeah, I think even maybe I don't know my computer, but your face is not so totally clear, the screen.
Huh.
It's yeah, other people, Sarah's face is clear, but it's in your face. Not, yeah, it's if you maybe you put something, then sometimes that blur a little bit. I don't know that screen. Maybe computer.
Huh. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. So everyone is clear. It's okay. I think maybe because since your people are watching, right? If the other people watching, it's good to have everyone has clear screen.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to see you, Kimiyo.
Good to see you.
Yeah, Karen, I really like today's slides. I was thinking a lot about the way that the 3-year-olds come to agreement, and I always remember like how sensitive they are, like empathy, and how empathetic they can be for the most part. Maybe there's some, or they have moods probably where they're feeling that way or not. But if you can bring to them that situation of, well, how do you think that person feels? And so quickly they are like, oh no, he's hurt, he has a boo-boo, or, something like that.
Right.
I know Kimiyo has grandchildren. Maybe she experiences that with them too. I don't know, they're probably getting older now. But when I was working at daycare, I really, and I did a lot of preschool in Brazil as well. And those classes were really wonderful that, love was the primary focus, that I guess at that phase,
Nice.
every child, even until 8th grade, they respond to love. I mean, teenagers do too, of course, but they're in a different focus. They got to get out in the world and stuff like that. But especially the preschoolers, there's just a balance between heart and reason, like emotion and logic, those kinds of things we always take into consideration. But what I love about this program is that it's talking about the generations, and some of us are going to be dealing with 3 generations, like you and your grandson, right?
Right.
Your daughter. So how to make those 3 generations happy, and how to make all 3 agree when everyone is at such a different phase in their life, and the different concerns, So it's, I really like the idea, and then it's funny how people can feel like, oh, that'll never work.
Right. I know.
I'm the boss. and to heck with how you feel, because my idea is better because I'm smarter than you are, or something like that,
Yeah.
Anyhow, it's really nice because if people can understand that, to give it a try, but you have to have, like you said, if you're going to do this agreement, you yourself have to follow it. If you're dealing with a child, they will call you out. And you can't be lazy about it,
Right.
So it is work, but as long as everybody understands that we're going to come up with something that everybody's really happy with. It's like I wrote down something too. Is one part when you said each person can be heard and acknowledged. You know, and sometimes actually, you know, when there's a conflict, sometimes it's not that somebody has a different idea, but sometimes it's like they feel like they're being stepped over, that they're not seen or heard or acknowledged. And so they create a conflict or they create resistance to what is happening because you didn't even ask me what I think or include me in what you're doing. I'm not included. I'm just a piece of furniture here or something like that, you know? And so
Right.
they create this resistance where actually they don't have any kind of alternative plan, you know? They don't really
Right.
have a different idea of what everybody's about to do. It's just they don't want to do it because they weren't seen or heard or included, you know, and they feel like they've got to speak up and say, hey, you know, am I here, you know? Is you want me to help you, but you're not talking to me. You're talking around me or through me or something, you know? So I feel like sometimes even that rule of agreement is like can stop that right away. That each person, you know, is part of the uh, equation. You know, that from the beginning, everybody say what they want in the situation or what their concern is, or like you said before, the outcome.
Right. And in that situation, it's they they may be agreeable to how things are going to unfold, but they're not agreeable to the part where they weren't even taken into account and have a chance to give feedback, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
what's important to that person.
Right. I'm just saying if people
Right.
are not aware of the one rule and they have a lot of conflicts in their home, just by having that understanding that the one rule could be there, like trying it out. My idea is like when people feel like that sounds ridiculous or impossible, you know, why would you want to hear from a 5-year-old child, you know, and then that's going to resolve conflicts in your home? That's just a disobedient child. That's what the problem is, you know.
Right.
But they want to give the rule a try, and they understand that a lot of those conflicts aren't really conflicts at all. It's just that that person is feeling so unseeable, so unseen, so unheard, you know, that those conflicts aren't really conflicts. And they're not really trying to be a disobedient child at all, but they just need to be appreciated, you know, acknowledged, you know. And then, like you said, the children sometimes come up with incredible ideas.
Yeah.
Like that kid, they're a child, yes, but they do have a mind. They have a mind, and they have an imagination, you know. So I think it's a really, but more than that, for me, it's like it's a great time in someone's life for them to be seen as a thoughtful, caring person.
Right.
Not waiting until they're 18 and they go to college and they join some college group. And then they're seen as a kind and intelligent person. They can start when they're 3 years old, you know, in their family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, because it's in them. It's in them to be that.
It's in them from birth.
Yeah.
God created
I know. I've been thinking, like my children when they were born, they all, every one of them felt like I was holding a saint. And so to me, anyway, that I think that experience helped in the formation of this whole approach to raising children. And it was definitely not popular even where I lived. And I would think it could be, but nobody was putting this kind of thinking out there at all. In fact, one time when my son, who was the middle child, was in the elementary school that that formed out of the children's house. When the children got old enough, the parents they didn't want to send them on to the public school. And so this got formed. Anyway, when my son was there, they put on a play once, and in the play, they were mocking my approach to raising him. It was like anyway, and fortunately I was at least strong enough to like, okay, I can handle this. But that was the atmosphere. And these were people who theoretically would have been, nowadays, probably their children or their grandchildren are going to love the one rule and this whole approach. But the parents were from the way I was raised, which is just like you said, you know, the adults in charge. They make the rules, they say what happens, and you fall in line or you're in trouble, you know. So
yeah. Children are to be seen and not heard.
That's what I grew up with. Yes.
Right, that
Yeah.
generation.
Yeah.
You had to be dressed perfectly, very clean, very polite, and silent.
Right. Yes.
But I think formal occasions are fine for that education. I mean, I think it's really fine for children to know how to be formal.
Oh, definitely.
And how to behave in public.
Yeah.
But if that's every night at the dinner table, that's hard. That's so hard, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I loved your comment about the for the Rally of Hope.
Because,
oh, you know, it's kind of silly to say maybe, or a bit of a stretch, but it feels like with COVID-19 and stuff, and different nations realizing that it's not great to, you know, you can be patriotic, but you don't have to resort to nationalism, you know, and like my country's the only country that matters. It's a little bit like, you know, okay, let's have agreement. just because I think your country matters too.
Right.
So we have the one rule with the United Nations, because I matter to me, but you matter to me too.
Right.
Because we all live on the same planet, you know, we all have the same air,
Yeah,
same ocean, you know. My ocean is your ocean.
Right. Yes. Yes. Well, that's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Living for the sake of others, that's, I think, who we are as human beings, you know, but we haven't recognized that because we've been in a state of mind, a state of nature, a fallen nature of there's not enough. There's not enough love for me, there's not enough gold for me, there's not enough room for me, there's not enough land for me. You know, there's not this fallen state of there's something missing, there's not enough, there's scarcity.
You know what you're saying right there took me back to what you said earlier about the small child causing a problem because they were overlooked. And it could easily stem back to something as simple as that. Whereas if the child feels full and a complete part of it and doesn't have to make themselves bigger by throwing a tantrum or screaming and shouting or running or whatever way they make themselves bigger and seen, if they're included as a harmonious part of the whole, that could make a whole difference further on down the line as they grow up and act in the world more. And
for sure. There was, I forgot who said it, but a mind is a terrible thing to waste.
oh yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We never know what that person might become.
That's right. Yeah.
How are you, Batool?
I'm fine. I'm just listening to you today, enjoying your talks, listening. You know, this one rule is so deep, Sarah, so deep that like keep on thinking, and it's just like you are getting into the water deeper and deeper and deeper. Like, because even when Miss Karen was today reading slides, I was just listening to her carefully, and just it came in my mind that when you talk about one rule, first you have to agree yourself also.
Yes.
You have to, convince yourself also.
Oh,
that's right.
Yes.
Yes.
So true.
Because the first person you try to agree is yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it's not only with any statement. It's about with your life, that you should be contented with your life. You should be happy. You agreed to this living, agreed if you're doing some work even, and you're planning to start a new business, whether an entrepreneur or anything, determination, that agreement inside, commitment is very important, that you agree to this thing. Because if one person cannot agree himself or herself, how can he or she convince others? We have to first agree ourselves also. And then once we are agreeing with something, I believe then we get more power from inside, because we get more energetic, we feel, because to convince or to come to some suggestion, we talk to ourselves. You look like thinking like, okay, I could have done this, no, this could have led to this, and then finally you come with a conclusion that you yourself are agreeing to. You have more sentences, more evidences inside yourself, and then you want to talk to others. Hey, like, come to this plan, and then you can talk, and you, just because you agreed yourself, now you have to agree the world to it. Now you need to speak, because like you say that action speaks louder than words. So we have to show with our actions also. We have to convince others. And from in a family, if this one rule is starting something from the very beginning, then you're teaching your children not to have a fight with the hands or some weapon. Talk, table talk. Because dispute is there. You can't, like, friendship is there, so enmity is there. Love is there, hatred is there. This is how the world is. We cannot finish one thing completely. Never. Like in a novel also, when you read or when you watch a movie, without a villain, the movie is useless. The villain put the life in the movie, basically. The more role is of the hero, the role is of the villain as well. In the end, you see that the truth wins, or the right thing won, whatever it is. But inside, like I spoke like last time also, there's a good person and a bad person inside every person, and we have to take that good person out.
That's true.
So we have to teach our kids. We have to teach our kids that there will be people, but it doesn't mean that there will be a fight. You have to come out of it. This is the way which I am teaching, talking, because you are an educated person. Animals fight, people talk. You are a human being, gifted with brain, intelligence. That's the main power. Animals fight. You see dogs barking each other, fighting because they are animals, sorry. But you are human. So you must talk. You can't do it in human activity. Like we say killing and these types of things are inhuman. The word inhuman comes with it.
Interesting.
So I believe this one rule is not only a rule which we just do with the family, it is from ourselves also. And then slowly this will develop, because it will take a little time, and then you will find peace and harmony in yourself. That you know you are on the right track. No matter what, whether the world is with you, whether the world is not with you, you know you are right. Your inner should be strong enough to, convince other from your inner. Then when the people see that this person is determined, then there is something in her talk or his talk. Let's listen to him. And for that, it's not easy, because I believe to make a change in a family, even if you start rule one in the family, it won't come in a day or in a week or in a month. It will take time. And for that, we don't need to tell everyone all the time that we are following one rule. We have to show with the action. That's the one rule magic. It will start working. And for that, we need to give respect to each other. We need to teach our children to, first thing is treating everyone with respect. Like last time I said, even a sweeper also, respect that person. He's cleaning the dirt from the street. If he will not, then where will you go?
Right.
So every profession deserves respect. Every person, every human deserves. Yes, if there is something which you don't like, that's his action or her action, you are not agreeing with the action, but not that particular person. Even, these things, when it is how you are raising the atmosphere in a family. You have to give a talk, because nowadays children, I know comparatively us are different. It's hard to tackle even. But like I always say, sun rises from the east, sets in the west, rain is coming, winter, autumn, spring, everything is there. The nature is as it is. We are changing. We think because of technology, only because of technology, we think that everything is changing. But human brains are there still. The way of conversation can still work. If we make the habit in one family, then family talks to other families. This keeps on going and it will grow in a whole system, slowly. We should not follow what others are doing. We should teach our kids, look what we want, what we have to show. You have to, like I always tell my son, beta, I always tell him that, listen, whoever misbehaves, you ignore. You just ignore and pray for him that God gives him, guidance. He does not know what he's doing. Because your mom is telling you this is wrong. And this is how, you have to settle it, because young generation is mostly with anger and all. So anger management, stress management, I know all these things are there, and there are ways to go to the doctor to talk about it. But if we implement something in our whole house, in our home, some methods, so things will resolve. One person has to control the things, no matter what. And a mother is very important, plays a very important role in it. Because God has given her superpower, superpower, I believe. That God has created the mother, the strongest person. And she himself holds miracle, giving a birth to a baby, holding her or him 9 months, giving a life. God has chosen you to give a life in the world. So you can bring change, because God is showing that he trusts you. This is my belief, and I just shared with you all.
So beautiful, Batool.
Yeah.
Maybe you can speak for one of our times for Women's Federation.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I would love to. Thank you so much. But honestly, Sera, it's not only I'm speaking my heart. See, there's no speech prepared. Nothing. Is just what I feel. I listen and I just, because that's honestly what I really feel.
Yeah, that's why it's so impactful. That's why it's so powerful.
Yes.
Because I believe, even I tell everyone, see, I'm a Muslim and I respect my religion, I respect other religion. I tell everyone not to stop anyone to go to church, to temple, to mosque, anywhere they like to go, any place. Because if you believe that this place belongs to God, then who are you to hold them? Let them go everywhere. Let them listen. Let them have the freedom. Because the first thing which every religion will want is humanity and respect. If I paint a painting and I want to keep, I like with very effort, I even tell my like students all this thing that whenever we do a painting or make a decoration piece, you love that piece because you have made it. And you want to take it, you know, and keep it in a good place and no one should break it and all. Think about the God creatures you are doing, the things you are doing with them, how you are hurting the God. Like this. When you hurt a human, or any living thing, whether it's a tree also, a small insect also, you're not hurting that, you're hurting God. He created. If we all just gather things about it. Yes? Saying something, Ms. Kimiyo?
Oh, no, I said I agree to you. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
I think we lost, you know, because so much anger in the young people, and we lost love, you know, in the family. I think that the family is the base for the society, right? And if we cannot really find love in the family, and then children are not growing up in a proper way, you know, always missing love, and love, because love is a source of life, right? So I think today's society, somehow, you know, the people are raised up in the kind of cell phone or social, you know, the young people already younger age, raised up with the iPad or, you know, so they,
Yeah.
you know, so that's a big problem, you know. And I think that we have to change it, definitely. But whoever, I think, has this idea, you know, the family, to build the family, the solid, the place for the love, you know, to receive and rejuvenate, you know, all the energy back, right? But it's something, if you don't create the family in with love, I think it's children we do, no matter how much we give the great education, you know, we can't. I think the only knowledge doesn't help. They have to feel it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, not just knowledge. Knowledge, yes, but not just knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's why I think that Karen, that you said, you know, when your you know, children are born, you know, you felt that you are carrying them as kind of very precious, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that kind of, you know, love is, you know, supposed to continue, I think, you know, but somehow
yes,
we lose, you know, kind of not only just family, but in the society.
Well, I know that one of the earliest times when this problem happens, let's say the child is born and there's love between the mother and the child in particular, hopefully the whole family. But when a child becomes around 2 years old and they're developing their willpower, people don't understand what they're doing and they think that they're being little monsters, and they're that here, you know, just last week my child was so sweet, so cute, and now look at them screaming and, you know, throwing fits and breaking things. And so that's one place where I feel I can offer some help for this transition. If people can transition through this, keep the love that you have for this small child, understand what's going on. You have to put out a little bit more of your focused attention for the 2-year-old. But if you understand what they're going through, what they're developing, I think it will help. And then they get into the 3s and it's more comfortable again. But if you've gone through the hardship of the 2-year-old time, and developed thought patterns of, that are not in line with love, then it's kind of hard to switch back again. So that's one thing I feel really called to help that time also, so that because I think it brings about a lot of problems, and even people that are not connected with my work at all know that if you have problems during the 2-year-old time, chances are there's going to be those kind of problems and more during the teen time. So anyway, I'm just recommitting myself to that helping that happen. So I'm gonna do that. So, and get the one rule out there. Yeah, like I said in that email, I'm going to create programs for that to happen. So I'm in the process of doing that.
That was you're talking about that email, meaning the part. I mean, I think that was in your reflection as well.
Yeah, that's what I meant in the reflection. Yeah, at the end.
Yeah, I was curious to what that meant as far as people economically being able to be involved in getting the one rule out there. And
yeah,
you take your time, because I know.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have to go, but I'm creating an affiliate program through ClickBank, so people can you can sign up with ClickBank for free, and then you get paid like 50% of anything. Like if somebody buys a book, you get half the money. If somebody like that, so.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah, I was thinking. I mean, it's time to finish.
Yeah.
In Brazil, I was so happy when my kids were 2 years old. We had chickens. I felt God created chickens for 2-year-olds because they could chase them, and they were so, they were the Lord of creation, and the chickens just ran away, and
That's great.
That's so cute.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being here and sharing your wisdom and sharing your hearts. I love that the world has you. So, okay.
God bless you.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
See you next week.
Thank you.
We'll see you
nice
Friday for the Peace Road.
Thank you,
Oh,
Sera.
yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.